What's going on? It's man Bubba B. I'm down here on the historic Main Street, right in front of the old Royal Bank, in front of the Confederation building. It's very interesting because this historic corner, this historic part of land right here is part of the heartbeat of Canada, part of the heartbeat of Western Canada. And at one point in time, this building that we're standing in front of right now was the tallest building in all of Western Canada. It was also the first building to use like real elevators and all that kind of stuff. We're standing in front of it. But come on, let's walk a little bit. Come on. Now tucked in right behind that Royal Bank building is City Hall, right over here. And this is where we're going to meet with the mayor, the outgoing mayor of Winnipeg, aka Mr. Sam Katz. Let's go. But this is where the heartbeat of the city is. This is where it all happens. Mayor's right behind there. All the councilmen are behind there. All the offices and the aldermen are down those hallways there. Where they meet and battle is inside there. This is where it all comes together. City Hall, Winnipeg. We're here with His Excellency, Mr. Sam Katz, the mayor of Winnipeg, the epicenter of North America. And the whole reason, I can honestly say this without a shadow of a doubt, I would say 93% of the reason why I decided to stay in Winnipeg when I first arrived here was because of you.
I'm very flattered to hear that.
Well,
I didn't know that.
when I first got here, I was only supposed to be here for 7 days in Winnipeg. For 7 days, that was it. And I remember the first week I was here, I read, I don't know if you even remember this, but I read a newspaper article that you had, they quoted you saying that, basically just was that Winnipeg had a self-esteem problem. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I still say that, yes.
So you believe that?
Absolutely.
And you know what? I read that and I was like, this dude is fantastic because he calls it as it is. From the moment I got to Winnipeg, people were asking me, you're not from here. Why'd you come? Why are you here? What are you doing here? And they make you feel like you made a wrong turn. Like you weren't supposed to come here. Like, what are you doing here? Why would you come here? You just left Calgary, or you were living in Florida, or you were living here. Why would you come to Winnipeg? And they make it seem like it's a bad thing. And for the mayor to say that, but not say it in a negative way, to say like, hey, this is a great city, a fantastic city, I believe in it, and the populace has a self-esteem issue to the point where they don't believe it. They don't think that the city is a great city, or they don't believe that the city can be world class. And for the mayor to say that publicly and to wear his heart on his sleeve like that, I was, for lack of a better word, I was fixated by you at that moment. Because I realized that this dude loves this city, to be able to put it out like that and to say it like that. And not just like you're saying in the back room, this place is not self-esteem issue. You said it in the paper, so everybody could read it. Everybody knew what your mind was at. And then, in between all of that, I ended up working at Flavor 107.9, which was right above Johnny G's.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then I found out that where our studio was
my old office.
your old office.
Right on Entertainment.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And you used to be, what did you used to do?
I used to promote all the concerts and entertainment and sporting events through Western Canada.
The big man.
Oh no, 5'7", I would call me the big man.
You were the big man. Right?
You the big man.
okay, I'm the bigger man, stature-wise. But you were the big man, meaning that you were holding it down. You were investing in the city before you were the mayor. You were bringing all the concerts, bringing the entertainment.
And the reason I did that was to show people that whatever's happening in other big cities, you can see the same thing happening here. I believe that. A lot of people did. We did Broadway shows with people that would never happen. We did, back in those days, we had, remember Pink Floyd, Paul McCartney, Wings, and Rolling Stones all within 13 months. No one ever believed that would happen. And now you see Winnipeg can do what any other city can do. And sometimes we can do it better.
That's what I love about you, man. And you know, and okay,
he is my brother from another mother. You know that, right?
Listen, and if, you know, I've been. We'll talk about that in a few months. But what made you decide to get into doing the PR thing, the publicity promotion stuff? What made you get into that?
You know, it's something that actually happened. Winnipeg was very unique in the fact that we were big on socials, and I actually started. We bought a building, and it was the Winnipeg Rec Center, and we did socials, and from there I got into bands and managing bands, and then promoting concerts, and one thing led to another. It was just a path. Didn't know where I was going, but it's just a path that led me there. And then we started doing bigger entertainment, and then, you know, went from small venues like the Playhouse to the Concert Hall to the Winnipeg Arena. You know, and then we did outdoor festivals. We had the biggest outdoor festival out in Gimli called Gimli Fest with some of the best acts in the world, and you name it, we did it. So it's just something I believe that could happen here in Winnipeg.
Were you born here?
Nope.
Where were you?
But came when I was 6 months old. Okay.
Oh, okay.
For all intents and purposes, I'm a landed immigrant.
Landed immigrant. Okay. So Winnipeg's like your spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what made you different than other people, your contemporaries? Like, what made you see, okay, this city's a great city, I can help make it better than a lot of the other people that are born and raised here? Unfortunately, I've met a lot of people that are born and raised here that don't feel the same way.
You know what? I think part of my growing up was to have a positive attitude. I believe that you can accomplish anything if you set your mind to it, and the only barriers are the ones that you put up. I mean, you know, just look around North America today and see what people are accomplishing. Now, a lot of it comes from people no different than any of us. Okay, you just have to believe, and you got to surround yourself with people who believe, because there's a lot of negativity out there. I remember any time I said we were going to do this, all I heard was those naysayers. Can't be done. We loved to prove them wrong, and we did. You know, that was kind of, you know, there was nothing that made me happier than proving them wrong.
It does.
Sometimes it wasn't the right motivation, but
yeah,
it was proving them wrong.
That little warm, fuzzy feeling on the inside.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Being able to rub it kind of in their faces. Now, so you parlayed all that to, what made you decide to run to become the mayor? Like, what made that uptick, that bump?
Well, you know, I've been in the entertainment industry for quite a while. Got into professional sports with bringing baseball back to Winnipeg. You know, built a ballpark. You know, life was good. Life was really good, and we started doing what I think everybody does. You sit around with friends for dinner, or you out for a drink or whatever, and you criticize what's going on at City Hall, because everybody loves to criticize.
Right.
And you say, well, they shouldn't be doing this, and that, etc. But nobody wants to put their name on the ballot and actually make a change. You know, talk about it, criticizing, everybody wants to do. And then what happened is our mayor at the time decided to step down and run for provincial politics. Federal politics. He's running for the Liberal Party. And so that created a by-election for mayor. And there was a whole slew of candidates. You know, there was city councilors that were running, MLAs that were running. And, you know, every so often, you know, my name would somehow get thrown in there, because the media loves to create stuff like that.
That's true. Yeah.
So they threw mine, and I had no interest whatsoever. And it kept on going, I still had no interest whatsoever. And then one day, I came back to the Gold Eyes office, and my EA basically said, you know, someone wants to set up a meeting with you and 7 pastors. And I said, a meeting with me and 7 pastors? And she says, yes. I said, well, about what? Well, they didn't say. I said, you know what? Set up the meeting. So a couple of days later, I'm there with 7 pastors from the city of Winnipeg.
7 different pastors?
7 different pastors from 7 different churches.
Wow.
Okay. And they were there to try to convince me to run for mayor. That was their whole objective. And they were telling me, you know, how, you know, individual to lead the city. You know, they like my family values, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they're talking to me for about, 35, 40 minutes. And then they did something that maybe for the first time in my life, I was speechless. They said, is it okay if we pray for you? I've never, ever had anybody ask me if they could pray for me. So everybody joined, and I said, yeah, and they joined hands. And they all prayed for me.
These are 7 different pastors?
7 different pastors. I've met them, I've told the story before.
Wow.
I see them all the time, and I still go drop by their church for certain events, etc. And every so often I go by and they're praying, and and they left the office. Okay, they left the office. And I went home and I told the story, and I said, if these 7 pastors think I'd be the right person to be mayor, maybe I should run. And about 3 hours before the deadline for mayor, I entered the race. And lo and behold, I became mayor. And then I ran again and I won, and then I ran again and I won.
3 times.
And after 10 years, I'm going to spend some time with my family and enjoy it.
So is that what the plan is now?
Well, 4 years ago, that was kind of the plan.
Okay.
I told my wife 4 years ago that this was it. She would have been happy if I didn't run that one. I was like, I'm going to run one more time, and that's it. It'll be 10 years, and I'll have done everything that, I've got things going in the right direction, someone else can take over. And then we had a little boy, he's turning 2, which meant for sure there was no changing of the mind at that stage of the game. And so, as a matter of fact, the next day in the paper it basically said this will be my last term. It was made public. A lot of people may not have believed it, but it was always the plan. I'm not a career politician.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm not your typical politician, which is probably why I say things that most politicians wouldn't say.
Okay.
Not afraid to speak the truth.
Has anybody tried to convince you to stay on?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Absolutely. The last couple of months have been terrible. It's all people. I go to Safeway, I go to a football game, no matter what type of event I go publicly, I go to a restaurant for dinner, people are saying, you've got to stay. We understand it's not easy, but you've got to stay for our sake.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know what? I appreciate it, and I think that's very kind, but to be honest with you, I made a commitment, back a while ago. I made a commitment to my wife, and I want to spend some time with I've got a young son. I don't want to be away from him. There's a lot of sacrifices you make as mayor, and they said, you know what? We understand that. We're just sorry to hear that. We appreciate everything you've done, and I say thank you. We move on.
That's that. I was kind of concerned because with all the media and stuff, and sure I'm not reading everything, and I don't know what people are saying behind the scenes, but I didn't hear anybody really saying, please Sam, please stay back, or stay on, or anything like that. Please stay on. I never saw that anywhere, and I was like, in my mind, in my heart, I still believe you, like I said, you are fantastic.
You won't see those kind of things in the media. Those are things that people approach you. To be very frank with you, even if that was written in some of the media, they probably wouldn't report it anyways. I mean, there are some media who, I don't really see eye to eye with, which is fine. That's okay. Okay. I happen to think that too many of our media are biased, but that's pretty normal, to be very frank with you. And from my point of view, I mean, I've never been endorsed by any of the media. It's always been someone else, and I won every time.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? My whole goal was to serve the people. I wasn't serving the media or anyone in particular. I was serving the people, and I believed I could make changes in Winnipeg and make Winnipeg a better place to live, to work, to play, for people to invest in. And you know what? When I leave, I know we've accomplished a great deal of that. I've run into people who have been gone for almost 9 years, and they've come back and they said, I can't believe the change in the city. Mm-hmm. Well, I know who's been mayor for the last 10 years, and who the council's been. So when people say that, I know people now who are moving back to Winnipeg who left. Mm-hmm. I know people now who are staying who would have probably left, because there's now opportunity. So that's what it's all about.
What would you say would be your top 3 legacy things that you've done in the city that you're going to walk away from and be like, yeah, pop your collar, I did that?
Well, I've never been that way. People always ask me, what's your legacy going to be? I say, my children are my legacy. That's my legacy.
sure.
Yeah, but I know in a political world, I guess your normal politician, thinks that way. But just look around the city right now. I mean, we took Assiniboine Park that was falling apart, created the Assiniboine Park Conservancy, got the private sector to invest $50 million of their money along with other levels of government, and now we have a world-class facility. A world-class facility.
Yeah, sure.
I'm extremely proud of that, okay? You look at Central Park, an area where a lot of immigrants come. There was drug deals going on, there was crime, there was drinking. We redid that whole place. So those people have the same opportunity people in other parts of the city have. A nice park to come to, with an artificial soccer field, with a spray pad. Why not? Everybody should have, no matter where you live, you should have the same opportunities, okay? We've rebuilt our infrastructure, okay? It was falling apart. We've rebuilt it, we put a plan together. No one was building apartments for almost 2.5 decades. Guess what? Now I'm building apartments in our downtown. And look at the change in our downtown, And I'm not, even though people say, hey, thank you for the Jets, I did not bring back the Jets. Okay, I want to put that on the record.
Come on.
No.
Okay, true. You didn't bring them specifically.
I did not.
But you talked to Mark, and you guys sat together, and you guys all worked.
Well, you know what? The city worked with them, but you know what? I'm giving full marks to the private sector, Mr. Chipman and Mr. Thompson. Okay, someone had to put up the money to make it happen, and they did that. And on top of that, we had an arena. But you know what? I mean, people say, people, you know what? It's funny. When I was elected, 2 things I would hear the most. When are you, Mr. Mayor, bringing us an IKEA and bringing back the Jets? Guess what? They're both here. Did I do that all? No, but they're here. And creating the right climate, maybe, but creating the right environment, the right climate certainly helps. There's no question about it. I could go on and on, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to take credit for all these things. I may have been the impetus, I may have had an idea, but you know what? It takes all of council to make anything happen.
You're an ideas guy.
Yeah, I'm an ideas guy. No question about that.
What's that? Okay, what's the next step for you? You're going to hang out with your kids, you're going to hang out with your wifey.
I'm going to be, you'll find me at 1 Portage Avenue East at the Winnipeg October baseball facility. You'll find me there. I'm going to work on some entertainment projects because that's my world. And my wife has a couple projects she would like me to get involved with her. That's enough.
That'll keep you busy.
That'll keep me busy. Maybe you'll call me and let me get involved in
projects. Well, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for right now. Because I thought about this. Okay, I'll just give you a little background. I was living in West Palm Beach, Florida. I got, my manager at the time, he sent me a piece of paper telling me about, one of my goals as a recording artist was to win or be the first Canadian nominated for a Grammy Award in the urban hip-hop or children's category, okay? So he sent me some paperwork telling me about this guy from Winnipeg named Fresh IE.
Yeah.
He'd been nominated for a Grammy Award. And I was like, what? From Winnipeg? That was my first about Winnipeg, okay? My older sister lived here for 17 years. And I would come, visit her for like 24 hours, jump on a plane and go back to Toronto or continue on my way, right? That's as long as I'm staying in Winnipeg. So when I was reading this article about this Fresh IE guy and all this kind of stuff, and I was like, okay, I gotta go to Winnipeg. And I was talking to some of my friends, my contemporaries, and they're like, well, Bubba, you've done pretty much all you can do on your own. If you want to be the best, you have to work with the best. That's how it has to be. And I'm like, okay, but who's the best? I'm just trying to figure out who's the best, right? Who can help me? Because I'm not easy to work with. I'm a very big guy, right? Like you said, I'm not just a rapper, I'm not just an artist, I'm not just a radio host, I'm an actor, I'm this and all these other things. And most agents, managers, whatever, they can't handle it. They're like, I can handle one-trick pony, and that's all I can take, right? And I'm not just a one-trick pony.
They want you to focus on one.
On one, which is great. You can focus on one, but you can also focus on others as well if you're really good and you have a strong team around.
I agree.
Right? Like you're doing it. You're proof of that. So anyway, just the fact is, when I got to Winnipeg and you were making things happen, Fresh IE got me to come to the city. He was the first person to say, okay, Bubba, you gotta do Winnipeg. You gotta do Winnipeg for a year. And I said, okay, fine, I'm gonna come. It was Juno weekend. I came for the Junos. I stayed, I was staying for 7 days. On my 6th day, I ended up going to Flavor and doing a whole radio interview that I met Frank,
yeah.
PC, and he's like, offered me an honorary position, started that week, and that's what started the ball rolling. And I met you, like literally 2 months later, or 3 months later, it was Sheila's birthday.
Okay.
And you just showed up. And I was like, that's the dude, man.
That's the dude.
Okay? And you just showed up, and you were just cool. And I've known mayors, like I knew Mayor, you know, Dave Borcanier from Calgary, you know, we hung out, whatever. I've known mayors, but you were cool, man. You were cool.
I was just me.
You were just you.
Just me.
And I appreciate that, because I'm just me. As big and over the top, blah, 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 as people say, that's
You know what the connection is between me and you? You mentioned Fresh IE. I don't know if you know this. When I ran for mayor the second time, Fresh IE was my honorary co-chair of my campaign. I know Fresh IE very well.
So we are all.
See, we're connected.
And very interestingly, that's how I met him.
That's like a Chris.
Yeah, that's how I met Chris, because he was a recent immigrant to Winnipeg as well, after spending 14 years in a refugee camp in Western Africa, which is having that crazy Ebola crisis right now.
Yeah.
So he had just made it out in time, made it here, hooked up through the church with Fresh,
Okay.
and then, you know, through Fresh and recording and stuff like that, boom, 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 that's how we met.
Okay, there you go.
And then, boom, now we have his daughter videotaping it.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing! And it's like, what's the word? It's not serendipitous, it's that word, kinship?
I don't know.
I'll go look it later, but it's like a word called kismet or something like that.
Kismet?
Yes, is that what it means?
Yeah, well, it may be.
You've heard that word?
Of course, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
and what does it mean? Do you know what it means? Kismet?
It's kind of like something was meant to be or happen or whatever, something. I'm not sure of the real definition. But I have staff here who can find out like that.
That's true. You have staff for what, like another month?
1 month.
What's the
1 month.
process? How does that whole
1 month.
process change over? How does that all work?
The election takes place, I think, around October the 22nd or so. And then they're sworn in on November the 4th. And when they're sworn in, I'm Arrivederci, Roma.
Arrivederci. What are you going to miss the most about this office?
You know what? I'll tell you what. Getting things done and working with my staff. I have great staff. But, you know, physically, the office is the office. It's the people that make it. You know, and the fact that we're getting so many good things done. You know, but yes, in 10 years it's been good. It's been good.
You know, and I know that, like you said, you're a very busy man, and so I wanted to give you a couple things. Is that okay?
Sure.
I'm not trying to bribe your vote or anything like that. I'm not trying to bribe you.
Oh, it will work anyways.
Okay.
Okay.
You mean if I slip you a 5 in there?
No. A loony would have been enough. You don't have to go to a lot.
You're worth it, man. You're worth it. Okay. You said that you're not the reason why we brought back the Jets, but I don't know. Do you have this yet?
No, I don't.
This is the Jets Rock Anthem that was part of the motivational impetus that got the whole city all hype and stuff. I mean, I know Hot 103, the station, doesn't exist anymore, but I wanted you to have one of these. And it was like, you, even though you didn't bring the team, I came to Winnipeg and people would ask me, well, do you think it's possible the Jets get back? I go, well, anything's possible because hope springs eternal. I'm a very hopeful person.
And a lot of people thought I was, you know, I had some crystal ball when I said forget about Phoenix. When I talk about Phoenix, let's talk about the Atlanta Thrashers. That's the team we should be getting. And then I did voice my opinion that they should be called the Jets, which just a couple of people weren't happy to hear, but that's what I truly believe.
Boom.
Yeah.
You know, and I was thinking it would be a challenge because very few cities have ever lost their professional team and then got it back. Okay? And Atlanta was one of them.
Yeah.
And we got the Flames. Calgary got the Flames from them. And they got another team back. So I was like, and then when you said that, I was like, Atlanta's gonna leave again. They're gonna leave. We just had a meeting with the mayor, and it went, I believe, very, very well. It was nothing really concrete. There was nothing really solidified. However, it was an opportunity for me to be able to see the man and to show him my respect and my honor, and to let him know that he's done a great job for the city. He helped inspire me to come here and start a family here, begin roots here. to begin the next chapter of my life here. And also, it was great for RC to be able to share the story of how he's connected with the mayor as well. And the mayor was very gracious. He gave us some plans for the future. He gave us some plans about his own personal future as well as the future of the city, which was great. And just be able to pick his mind and be able to make that one lasting connection with him. Because he's a family man first and a politician second. And he made a commitment to his wife and to his family, and he's standing by it, which is one of the things I loved about him. He's a man of integrity that way. And so now we're gonna go get some lunch, and it's all good. And big shout out to Christy on the camera, Uncle C for coming through, and staff of the mayor's office of Winnipeg, Manitoba. They were great to us, and they took care of us. Peace out. We'll see you again.